So it does look like kind of what I expected. Thought talking to E Hustle there, thought might send out Measle first, but as I kind of suspected, sorry, kind of tripping over words here. They are going to send out J-Siri. J-Siri for Team DBC is going to be playing the Mono Black control against his opponent here, Carton, who is running the Reality Acid deck. Did manage to save his team from the all kill from E Hustle, which is great. We'll have to see what they can pull off here. It'll be interesting to see what J-Siri can pull off as far as kill spells goes, in conjunction with the ability for Carton to return those creatures. So a bit of early discard could be beneficial, but there are a lot of ways for the deck to draw. I talked about it a little bit in the last matchup, why I don't think E-Hustle, and we didn't see any bringing in any of the discard, works better for control, like hard control, like Delver and stuff like that. And what Reality Acid does get is a lot of that extra card draw, but is going to lose out a bit. I mean, it's going to lose out a bit for the Mono Black player on the discard in the early games. We'll have to see possibly if some of that gets sided out or what he chooses. We'll also have to keep an eye on the ability of Carton to watch the clock. Really had me biting my nails at the end of the last one on whether or not he was going to time out and give E-Hustle the win despite being kind of ahead. And it looks like an early Spreading Seas is going to kind of slow J-Siri, hopefully a little bit, by changing that swamp. Sorry, updating title there real quick. Barrenmore is going to come down, so at the very least he does still have some black mana available to him. Carton here, hopefully not digging for a third land. That could be a little bit unfortunate for him if he does not have that right away. Trying to look through here. Will be a Crossroads coming down. J-Siri is running a version, kind of a, I guess we would call it a sneak attack version of Mono Black control. It is a version that is not so focused on the use of Grey Merchant, something that became really popular but is not nearly as strong and really hasn't held up as people have kind of gotten used to dealing with it. So this version is not running the Grey Merchants, but is running 3 Crypt Rats, which is kind of necessary for that extra black mana, but he does get down another Barrenmore. So it looks like that early Spreading Seas is simply going to just work as card draw as opposed to any kind of hindrance. More draw coming off here for Carton. Kind of a bit of a slow start for both teams, but honestly, Mono Black control is... it's a little bit aggressive. You do see a significant creature base, but at the same point in time, it's a much slower deck. It's not like a stompy variant, a goblin, something like that. Even White Weenie. It can play aggro and it can be the aggressor, but it's definitely slower. He's going to be sitting here, 6 cards in hand for probably a good portion of the game. Just holding cards in hand, being kill spells obviously, and waiting for an opportunity to use them. It could be definitely interesting to see how it plays out with the bounce interactions. I mean, as soon as those creatures, things like the Skyfisher and hit the battlefield, the Familiar and whatnot, as soon as those hit the battlefield, what it's going to do is trigger the ability. I mean, they are enters the battlefield ability, so even if in response to that J-Siri kills off the creature, he's still going to have the ability Resolve, which bounces the Reality Acid. And he throws out one here, kind of a similar situation as we had last game. Against E-Hustle, being in black and red, the only options to stopping the Reality Acid would be killing your own creature. And it looks like he is going to be able to ninja in. This could be big for him. Going to force out the double discard here. And Shinobi is something I personally love. Being a Mono Black player myself, I do love the use of Shinobi. I think it provides you a lot of great options for any deck. There are a few matchups where a Shinobi is something that doesn't matter. So in Carton's case, in order to defend this, he's going to have to hope for a blocker or a removal spell, because if he's got nothing, he could be in real serious trouble. Though I'm imagining with that play on the Reality Acid last turn, you know, as I keep saying, Black doesn't have really an option to deal with it, so he can play it on 2 different turns. Doesn't need to do it in 1. But having that Reality Acid, you imagine he's got some way to return it. So, imagining that as a creature, he's probably going to keep that in hand. Ooh, Perilous might have been his out for sacrificing that Acid. Does throw away a Lone Missionary as well, so clearly going to have some other creature around to try and block. Unfortunately, he is playing a mono-black control player, so it looks like he's going to kill off this swamp here by returning the Reality Acid. And we're most likely going to see J-Siri kill off this Skyfisher on his turn, which leaves an open pathway for the Shinobi to attack through once again. Another early Spreading Seas. Oh no, he returned the Spreading Seas. Oh, I think that was a bad move by Carton. So what he did there, he used the ability to return Spreading Seas, draw a card, but he had to have known, I mean, you're playing mono black. I get it, you want to draw cards to kind of counterbalance the discard, but you've left yourself open for a kill that was probably going to come anyways. You know, that there was an edict type kill, but any kind of targeted kill would have come down there anyways. And it looked like all he had was land. He's going to have to hope for something like a Skyfisher here on his next turn, and even then, J-Series in a really good position to just finish this off because of the fact that he's got 6 cards in hand, and if one of those is not a kill spell, then you are definitely looking in trouble. So I think even, I guess main deck, Mono Black Control has an advantage in this particular matchup. Oh, did he top deck? He did top deck into the Muldrifter, that's great. But we will probably see still, J-Series, 6 cards, soon to be 7, will have a kill spell available to kill it off and provide him an open pathway for Shinobi. Yep, there you go. Dead Weight's going to kill off the Muldrifter. Shinobi's going to attack through unabated, and he's going to be forced to discard the 2 cards that he just drew. And he's just going to concede out from the game. And it was definitely a bad situation. I don't think there's any way to come back from that. I'm not really sure J-Series needs to do much as far as main deck goes. I mean, maybe you could work in a couple of extra kill spells. He is running, you know, 4 Tendrils. That could be definitely something he works for. Victim of Night, stuff like that, I think would be definitely beneficial to him. I think he's actually in a really good position to take this down, finally finish off his team, despite the fact that Carton did pull off a really great win there against E-Hustle. This is kind of what I expected. I would have definitely thrown out the mono black player here. Carton's options are not good as far as this matchup goes in sideboarding. He's running a single copy of Hobble. I don't know that really gets him that much. I mean, it provides him basically a pacifism for a Shinobi if he decides to. Luckily for him, there are only 2 Shinobis in the deck, but, you know, with the Ragers and the Sign in Bloods, there is a decent chance for J-Series to find those just digging through his deck by taking a little bit of self-damage. We'll have to see if Carton can pull it out here in Game 2. Oh, an early duress. That's not going to work out too well. Looks like, yeah, those are actually main deck. J-Series is running 2 copies of Duress in the main deck there. Gets rid of Spreading Seas there. I guess that kind of gets him off the draw. I feel like I don't have a lot to say here, because if he can really get this discard going with the Shinobi and protect it like that, then he's in a really good position. I think, I mean, I don't think discard is actually that, you know, I said at the beginning of the last game, that detrimental to the Reality Acid player. I think the continuous discard is a single Duress here and there, not so terrible. Looks like Skyfish is going to come down. Return the Crossroads here, and he did make the mana drop there on turn 3 off the Plains, so it's not like he is going to be able to simply replay it. Perhaps the better move there would have been to tap out the Gate and the Crossroads to play the Skyfisher, return the Gate, and replay the Gate in the same turn. Because what this is going to do now, he would have been, he's going to put himself behind mana. Because next turn he'll probably replay the Crossroads unless he has another basic or untapped land. And he's only going to have 2 mana available for casting. And you kind of want to maximize the best use out of your land drops, obviously. 3 mana, 7 cards in hand. JC are going to have plenty of options for things to do. Chittering Rats here would be pretty nice, keeping him off. Probably a draw here. 5 cards in hand, one of those is a land. You have to imagine that if JC decided to get rid of Spreading Seas, it was more of a fact that it was going to draw a card than a fact that it was going to hurt his mana base. At most, Mono Black only needs 2 swamps, 2 black mana available. Obviously, going to need more if he wants to activate a Crypt Rats. But even in this particular matchup, the Crypt Rats only has to get up to 3. So with 3 swamps available, that will work out definitely for him, because 3 enables him to wipe the board of everything, including Skyfish. Is the only thing that would stay on would be the little cute illusion monkey with that 5 toughness, and that's not something he really needs to worry about. With its 1 attack power, it can basically work as a wall, and that's something that JC can easily find a kill spell for later on. Does land a Journey to Nowhere, will clear off the Chittering Rats and allow him an opportunity again to attack through. I guess he could have done so either way with the air. Getting him down to 16, some decent life available, I think, as long as he keeps a Shinobi off. And there is the Tendrils, which I did expect him to bring in. But as long as he can keep away a Shinobi. And I don't know, I guess maybe part of me would have wanted to keep the Journey. Again, not knowing what's in his hand, would have wanted to keep the Journey to Nowhere. Or at least some option to remove a Shinobi should it show up. It doesn't have the mana to hardcast it yet. You can ninjutsu it in for 4. However, you do require a much larger cost to hardcast it. Rager coming down, going to draw him up a card and find that 5th land. These are very cute swamps that he's running here. A little too much green in the artwork for a swamp, in my opinion. And there is the Hobble, which we, again, did expect him to bring in. I guess not a bad play. Again, if you can keep that from attacking, then you are preventing the Shinobi from coming in off the ninjutsu. And it looked like, just from these plays here, that J-Series had to draw into that 5th swamp. So not really something he has to worry about just yet for Carton, that is. We'll have to see. Still in a pretty bad spot. You do have J-Series, obviously a game ahead from that first win. But to see if they can pull this out. Again, Carton working on a reverse all kill as he hustle managed to take down the first 2 members of his team in the beginning. A little bit of thought here from Siri. I guess maybe whether he wanted to kill his own guy to prevent the draw. I'm guessing he does not. Kind of nice thing about Hobble. Hobble will draw the card no matter what. The only ability that it gains because it is black. For those of you who have seen it, is the fact that the creature cannot block. Ravenous Rat's coming down, going to keep Carlton down to 3. Sorry, sidetracked by chat. So Carton's going to have to drop his hand down to 3 again. Troublesome, but not necessarily game-ending. Looks like he is going to discard his little monkey there in the Dreamstalker. Another Crossroads coming down. It looks like he is going to play Familiar to return Hobble. Not sure if I like that play. I guess it doesn't matter if he's going to be able to bring something in. He's going to be able to do it off the Rats or the Rager. Sorry. Sidetracked by chat here. So that's going to come down. I mean, I said it does provide him with a chance to return Hobble, but can't replay it on this turn, so he's not going to draw this turn. I don't think he wants to return Journey. If he returns Journey, it's going to obviously be replayable, but... Oh, and J-Siri in response is going to sacrifice his own guy, which is going to force the Familiar to return Journey. So that's going to reactivate... Oh no, I forgot. The Familiar does have that sacrifice ability. Sorry, I forget about that because Familiar is obviously not something that Reality Acid these days is running. And there comes a Wrench Mine. That's going to hurt. Carton's going to lose both cards in hand. Looks like it is a Skyfisher and Oblivion Ring. That is definitely going to hurt. We'll have to see if Siri works in the Ninja here. Obviously not going to be a big deal because Carton's hand is already empty, but in the later plays, if Carton can't manage to refill his hand, then he could be in some definite trouble. Crypt Rat's coming down. Going to obviously be more beneficial in the later game when J-Siri is finally ahead on life, but doing one per turn when Carton's at 25 gives him plenty of chances here to find something and get back into this game. Journey to Nowhere coming down, possibly targeting the Crypt Rats, forcing a removal or simply just letting it die, which it looks like he will do. If activation there would have removed his Ravenous Rats in order to throw that in his graveyard. There's really no benefit to that at any point in time. He is running a couple of copies of Unearth, but I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't bring those out, because we did see the Wrench Mines come out of the sideboard, something I was a little surprised about. Obviously, Carton did fold to the discard in the first game. It looks like there you see an Unearth coming back for a Rager. Carton did fold to the discard in the first game, but that was mostly the Shinobi. I think the repeated discard is more troublesome than a single opportunity of discard. We'll have to see if that was or was not the right call. I mean, at this point in time, J-Siri looking pretty good, hits another Tendrils and goes back up to 23. Gained a significant amount of life off of those Tendrils. Let's see, that is the second one that he managed to hit. Down comes another Rager. Something some people can be surprised about is the ability of Mono Black Control to draw cards. But off of the Sign in Blood and the Ragers, a couple of cycling lands, and you're pretty well off. Carton now in top deck mode, hoping to find something. It looks like it will be an Auramancer, going to trigger the ability even if J-Siri can kill it off. Let's see what he does have in his graveyard for targeting. There's an Oblivion Ring. He can get back the Hobble, which could be his target of choice because it will shut things down. It looks like he will. Not enough mana to play it, but I think it is definitely the right call because it will draw a card while shutting down one of the attackers. And probably going to, get killed at the end of the turn here with the Auramancer. So getting some cards out of J-Siri's hand. Like I said, I think Carton's in an okay position here. Hobble's going to go back to the top, so he's going to kind of skip a draw here. He's in an okay position because he is running a version of Reality Acid that is a little bit heavier on creatures. Let's see, next turn he's going to draw the Hobble. He's going to play the probably targeting down. I'm not even sure it matters. Looks like Chittering Rats will be his target and draw the card that he should have drawn at the beginning of this turn. So basically that Chittering Rats simply canceled out the draw on the Hobble there, and it looks like he's going to return a Crossroads there with a Chancery. Cycling off another land. J-Siri in a pretty good place. Going to return that Crossroads from Carton's hand back to the top of his library, preventing the draw. Going to do 5 damage. Carton, who was up to 25, now down to 10. Not looking pretty good for him at this point. He's going to go up to 12, but is looking at 7 on the board. Coming his way. Possibly more if there's a Shinobi that shows up. Now down to 5. I don't know what Carton can do at this point. No cards in hand. I don't think a single card can save him. Maybe if he finds a Missionary that puts him up to 5, gives him a chump blocker that he can hopefully trade for. Hopefully J-Siri doesn't have a kill, but 3 cards in hand, you imagine he does. Drake Familiar coming down. Looks like he's going to be hoping for an opportunity to replay Hobble. We might see again J-Siri using a kill spell to kill off his own Chittering Rats and preventing the Hobble from being returned. If he does do that, and he will, most likely Carton's going to sacrifice his familiar, which leaves him open to fatal damage. If he chooses not to, he's got to return one of the journeys, which will give J-Series back an additional creature and kind of negates the fact anyways he is going to return a journey. I guess it's not so bad with the Crypt Rats here. He can simply replay it. Definitely wouldn't want to use that on the Jittering Rats that he has removed there. We'll have to see. I mean, this is pretty well over. Five life. We're looking at fatal damage on the board. Yeah, he just concedes out here. So there you go. J-Series saves it. Carton does obviously at least disrupt their plans for having a second week in a row all kill, but is unable to take down the mono black player. I was kind of leaning towards the way that would go, definitely would throw out MBC in that particular matchup, and you can see why. So I want to thank these guys. This is round 2. This was Team DBC takes it down 3-1 against Paupen Fresh. They are currently at the top of our league, and I want to thank real quick our sponsors, mtgoacademy.com. You can check them out. Videos will be up on their YouTube page. Follow me on Twitter at Mtgo JustSin, and I will have for you all of the latest and greatest news and updates, including Academy Showcase. We do have another Pauper event coming up for November. You can also check out a weekly recap from myself on the weeks and happenings. You can check those out at castingcommons.com. So there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed yet another match from our event here.